All right, well, let's try to keep the next one more on topic. So, next topic is, should men treat women as equals?
I don't know who you want to start with.
You don't need to make an opening statement. You can just free flow it.
I feel like this is always one of those like bait questions where what we're really asking is, what do we mean by equal? I think that's like the
What do
because
we
like
what do we
the
mean here by
same
equal?
probably not, but like equal rights and everything afforded under the law probably, yeah, right.
I mean,
Equal access.
I think we generally agree about this one.
yeah,
But I mean,
I don't know that I don't know that I do. So
Okay, does everyone think that women should be able to vote?
no.
Okay, there we go. That would be our disagreement. Why do you
Yeah.
think that women should not be able to vote?
For the same reason, I don't think most men should be able to vote,
Damn.
Which is?
which is that they have no stake in the game. And so if you don't have a high enough stake in the game, why should you be able to vote in the game or delineate the direction that the nation should go?
How do women have no stake in the game?
Well, not just women, men too. So this is the big problem. What I would
Don't
propose.
we all have a stake in the country and how
Yeah.
good
So
the
what
country
I
goes?
would propose would be some sort of limited democracy, which is what we started with in the Republic anyway. Was a limited democracy where only 5% of people could vote anyhow. And I mean, our entire electorate system has changed drastically in comparison to the early parts of the nation. And I do think that stakeholder democracy is far better. What my proposal would be is service guarantees citizenship. So some sort of elongated unpaid service to the state. And then from there, you can vote. And that would apply to men and women. I think both of those would be fine. I just think that you would necessarily end up with far more men who would do it.
Isn't the issue here really like, are men and women complementary, or are they like distinct individuals? Like, do they work together, or are they perfectly fine separate from each other? Because I think men and women are complementary. So a lot of the time when people say women should be treated equal to men, what they mean is they should be treated as men, which is sort of prioritizing men and deprioritizing femininity. Really what they are is they work together. Everybody knows that, right? I mean, if you say men are better leaders and women are better supporters, that's obviously true. No, they're different, but they have equal dignity.
I think everyone on this panel would agree that men and women work better together. I think the crux of the topic is when it comes to, like, let's just say dating, should you act differently around girls that you're trying to pick up than like your male friends, right? What are those differences? How substantial are they?
Well, I don't think it's just in dating. I mean, when you're asking kind of this fundamental question of should men and women be equal, Destiny asked probably the very first good grounding question, which is, what do we mean by equal? So they're kind of making the distinction, or I think they're trying to, that of course men and women from an ontological standpoint are different, right? But that doesn't mean that they should necessarily be treated different in society. Is that what you guys are saying?
I think it's about like access to
think they
certain
should
like
be-
opportunities and protections, right? Like we're not saying that they can't be treated different, because what does that mean? We mean like at a legal like governmental level, yeah, both should be given like access of opportunities. They should have like the certain rights. Assault on a woman is the same as assault on a man.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem with this argument, though, is that due to the ontological differences in men and women, when this is applied, we actually see it become very unequal. So men get longer sentences, for instance, than women do for the same types of crimes, especially violent crimes. Same thing with sex crimes. They get much lighter sentences when it comes to that as well. So it might sound good to say that we can apply these things equally to both, but they don't seem to be being applied equally to both. And this might have something to do with the difference in men being men and women being women, that there's more fundamental differences there than just this kind of idea that we can treat everybody equally.
So you believe that the reason that men are getting longer sentences is because of an ontological difference between men and women?
Yeah, I think that men, generally speaking, hand out and dole out lighter sentences to women than women would to women. And yes, there is data to support that, by the way. If you'd like to see it, I can pull that up and send it to you. But I don't even think that that's really in dispute. There is a massive amount of lighter sentencing which happens across the sexes. And it's because men and women view each other very... Yeah, well, I think that the necessity when you're talking about being that men are different, not just physiologically, but I think that there's an ontological difference between them too. Yes, of course I do.
Well,
Would
Kyla,
you agree
can I
that
ask you
women
as a
should get
woman-
less of a charge then than a man? Like, would you agree with this? Like, if women are fundamentally different than men in most ways, and the law is therefore punishing them a little bit less, wouldn't that just be society responding correctly? To
No,
the differences between them? If
because
they're fundamental.
no, because each society has a different sequence of systems which that society operates in for their codified laws. So that might only be a symptom of a democratic system and democratic law. Whereas if you had a monarchy, for instance, or you had some type of government authority which had a distinction, you might not see such unequal things applied. In fact, I remember we were kind of discussing this on an earlier panel about witches, for instance, and how, they would burn them at the stake, right? They would burn them at the stake. So what I'm saying is they seem to have not so much of a problem doling out equally harsh punishment. It just depends on the system that you're in. So no, I don't think that it's playing out how it's necessarily supposed to. I think it plays out maybe how you would think it would play out depending on the system you're in.